Hello, it's Philip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers, and I'm looking this morning at a book from Oxford University Press. It's this one, about 400 pages long, called Peculiar Institution, and it's looking at America's death penalty in the age of abolition. It's written by Professor David Garland. Let's say the book itself is standard. It's got very standard text inside it. You've got a series of interesting chapters, then you've got very useful notes on each chapter, as to be expected from an academic, and you've also got at the back a useful index. It's a heavy book, suitable black cover. There's a review on Flickr and all websites. It's a very useful book for criminologists and anybody involved in the issues of capital punishment in this day and age. And of course remember that we in the European Union member state countries don't allow capital punishment as a prerequisite of membership. It's only the Americans who seem to have gone back on what they did a few years ago when they abolished capital punishment, having reintroduced it. It's an uncivilized, barbaric way of dealing with people, whatever you think, and obviously I'm very much opposed to it. Don't believe judicial executions solve any problems whatsoever myself. You can write as many of these books and these other very learned tomes that fill the Squire Law Library in Cambridge, for instance. At the end of the day you still get down to do you believe in it or don't you, and it's really as simple as that. You would have thought in the 21st century we would have grown up sufficiently to have scrapped it completely. However, we haven't, and that's why this book is here. We've given it the title, The Death Penalty Only in America, and this is what we say. Peculiar Institution is described as a major new work by a leading writer on the culture and politics of crime control. And the author is Professor David Garland, a Scotsman. He's Vanderbilt Professor of Law and Professor of Sociology at New York University. Interestingly, he came to the US from Scotland, having studied at Edinburgh, a background we believe gives him a uniquely detached viewpoint on this horrifyingly thorny issue. With a background in both sociology and law, he's certainly well qualified to submit that the politics of punishment in America to the careful scrutiny of what characterizes this book itself. Because again, the issue really is about the way America perceives itself, and as I say, it's been a retrograde step in many people's views. Garland attempts to answer the question that's posed by many, including those who love America and have enjoyed living there, as to why so many American states either retain the death penalty or, after having abolished it, have reinstated it, and whilst we in Europe would regard this, as I say, as a retrograde step. Remember what I've said, and that is that the European Convention on Human Rights renounced the death penalty, and no EU state has it. After 2.5 centuries of moral debate and 4 decades of constitutional argument in the States, the public debate about the legitimacy, not to mention the efficacy of the death penalty, will probably continue, we would assume indefinitely, as the intrepid and scholarly author tries to explain why. This is the problem. I mean, we're going to get a lot more of these books. There are loads of them around, and the difficulty is that they still haven't come up with a basic view that you don't go around killing other people judicially. But they haven't got that yet. They will do eventually. The aim of the book, says Garland, is not to challenge the legitimacy of American capital punishment, which I have just done, or to show the death penalty being botched, unfairly imposed, or unjustly administered. Rather, it's to describe and explain the peculiar institution of American capital punishment in all its complex, controversial detail, and to explore its relationship to the society that sustains it. We think he succeeds admirably with this aim, and it arguably will assist the abolitionists, we hope. Commendably, Garland has aimed to maintain scrupulous objectivity and detachment, which is not the easiest thing to do with this subject, because the death penalty in America is a peculiar institution indeed. Peculiar to America because, as David Garland points out, it operates nowhere else in Western Europe. So I think students and practitioners alike in law, sociology, criminology, or for that matter American studies, will find the book a fascinating as well as a useful provider of insights into why the death penalty unfortunately survives in America in an age of abolition. And to add further research, there's a 77-page section of footnotes which I indicated at the back, and a good index. It's one of the most readable and enlightening works of sociology we've come across of late, and certainly worth adding to your library as the world continues to move towards eventual international abolition across the globe. Obviously it's an aim, but we'll see what happens. It would be nice to think that we stop doing this sort of thing in the next few years. President Obama, please note. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.